Tony D and Little Joan in the background, and this is a screenwriter's take on 1917, the war movie by Sam Mendes about two guys. I believe this is based on a true story. Two messengers that are sent to the front line to stop an attack that's a trap set by the Germans. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 14, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So this is a war movie, but it's also an adventure movie in reality. And the adventure is this guy's got to get this message in. Or the two guys, actually. It's 1917. It's World War I. It's trench warfare. And there's some just amazing sequences in this because essentially these are one takes. Essentially the whole movie's one take, technically. But I'm sure they've developed a way to... I mean, there were a couple of scenes that go to black, but then there are moments where, you know, they can do things now where they can hold the camera in such a way that it's exactly in the same spot when they start the next day. And that's one of the conceits of this film, if not the conceit, that essentially it's all one take. So, again, this is a non-spoiler review, and then the spoiler review would become later. We break down all the three acts. But it's really good. I really enjoyed it. I remember seeing the trailer a couple of years ago and saying, "Ooh, this is good. This looks good." It moves very well. There's a lot of exciting scenes, lots of surprises, and the character's journey is really a grueling one. Because, you know, World War I was just such a grueling war. Such a grueling war. There's CGI in this, I assume, but it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell where the CGI pops in. Really is. I think it's in this scene, but man, just some beautiful shots. And it's a tense drama. It really is. I was kind of tensed up watching the whole damn thing. You know, I found it really good. It's exciting. It rarely stops. It just rarely stops. And it kind of, because of the mission that the characters are on, it can't stop. So that, and it feels realistic in that. By the way, Benedict Cumberbatch is in it, but he's not in it for long. So don't get your hopes up on that front. He's basically with Benedict Cumberbatch. He has a short scene. Mark Strong makes an appearance. He's good. About, same level. It's really well done. I mean, it's a piece of movie craft that, they could have done this in a different way with separate shots. It would have been a completely different feel. This feels like a journey because the camera's constantly moving, going all over the place, going around. And man, the movie itself almost exhausts you because of what the characters go through. So yeah, it's still on Netflix. I gotta give it a thumbs up. I would give it like a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10, easy. Easily my favorite World War I movie. Even better than All Quiet on the Western Front. Although that one's very good. That one's kind of a downer. This one's not as... I mean, it's grueling, but it's got a little bit of hope at the end. A little bit of hope. So let's break it down. All right, that concludes the non-spoiler review. So if you're going to watch it, it's still on Netflix. It's totally worth watching. It is a bit gory, so heads up for that. But not overly so. I mean, it's a war movie. What do you expect? but man, there's just a lot of surprises. Okay, so now let's get into the spoilers. So first act. The first act is we introduce the characters, Baker and Schofield, and they're friends, and we get a little sense of their friendship, and then they get assigned this mission. And the reason it's assigned to Baker and Schofield is because Baker's brother is in the division that they're trying to stop from attacking the Germans, because the Germans have set up a trap. They have the intel, they know it's a trap, so they need to get the message before they launch the attack, or everybody will just get wiped out. So Baker has every incentive to get there to save his brother. His friend, not so much. They're not. I get the sense that they became friends during the course of the war. Early on, they squabble a little bit, and then later, I guess the rest of the first act really is Schofield and Baker's adventure. And then, huge spoiler, I warned you, of course, Baker's death is kind of a shock. Oh man, that comes out of nowhere. The way they shoot it. And kudos for Mendes to shoot it that way. Because, man, you don't see that one come at all. It's literally like, oh, what's happening? Oh, no. You know. So, wow. It's not totally shocking. I mean, it's a war movie. People die, but that was pretty shocking. And now Schofield, from that point on, has all the incentive in the world to finish this thing. Just as much as Baker. Initially, he didn't want to go, and now he's kind of like, I got to do this. The second act, that really, in some ways, is the end of the first act. Baker and Schofield is the first act. The second act is Baker on his own. And man, the hell he goes through. You know, and for a while he's got his gun, and you know, he gets injured again and again, and man, that the guy survived, which is insane, right? You know, his confrontation with Germans on a couple of occasions. I'm gonna give this an upvote, by the way. His meeting with the French girl with the baby, just over and over again. Schofield becomes God. He gives all the food to he gives all the food to the French woman with the baby. Then he loses his gun and is basically just running. Then he loses his pack after falling into the river. Then he finally gets there and has to convince Benedict Cumberbatch to stop the war, and the guy's like practically ignoring him, but then he does, and he stops the battle. And then great framing device. It starts out with Schofield sleeping against a tree. It ends with him sitting down and leaning against a tree. So it's just, man, what an exhausting movie. The hell that Schofield goes through is just nuts. It's just nuts. Yeah, it's really well done. Really well done. I recognized a lot of character actors in the movie as well. They seem to just pop up everywhere. Yeah, it's just, I mean, to me, I like this one better than All Quiet on the Western Front, although that's a great film. This is great too, because I like the adventure aspect of it. Because Schofield, I mean, this last scene here, where he's running across the battlefield, because essentially he's been running through the trenches, he's trying to stop the attack. The attack's just starting, and then by running out into the field, where bombs are going off and guys are getting shot, he's cutting a distance by running outside the trench, because he can't run through the trench. There's too many people in it. And so that's a great moment. So everything in this movie is really smart. You know, when Another surprise is when him and Baker are in. They can't go through the trench because the Germans have sabotaged it, but they have left a booby trap, which they see inside the bunker area, I'll say. So before they step on it, they realize, oh no, there's a trap there. But there's so many rats, one of the rats trips it off, and that's when Baker saves Schofield. And then later, he can't save Baker because Baker's just been stabbed by that German. God, if this movie teaches you anything, don't trust the Germans in wartime. Holy cow. Just one scene after another of the Germans betraying people. I mean, they saved the pilot's life, and he stabs Baker. Seems pretty rough. Seems pretty rough. I think you could, like, maybe not stab a guy who saves your life, pulls you out of a burning plane, and you stab him. Yeah, I think you could have avoided that. I think you could have said, I mean, if he's saving you, and it's not like they were going to take him with him, but and I don't know what he thought he was going to do after he stabbed Baker. He couldn't stand, and the other guy had a gun. Just that costed a point. That one moment costed a point. But it is a shocking moment because I didn't expect it coming, because when the camera moves and follows Schofield instead of Baker, and then you hear the noise, then it swings back and catches the end of it. So you're seeing it from the perspective of Schofield. Kind of. But yeah. Great dialogue. You learn about Baker and Schofield at the end. When he tells his brother, and that's a sad scene. And then gets permission to write his mother to tell him that he didn't die alone. And God, you just wanted to give this guy a medal. And he already, the amazing part too about his character was he'd already won a medal and traded it for a bottle of wine, and it like meant nothing to him because he's messed up from the war. That it was harder to go back home than it was to just stay there. So, I mean, they should have shipped this guy home as a reward, I think. But yeah, war is hell, and there's some bravery in it, and I thought this was really good. So, yeah, 1917. If you haven't seen it, it's playing on Netflix. I don't know for how long. 100% worth it. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on the other platforms. We do 4 videos a day, me and the little doggy. 2 of them are too spicy for YouTube, so you got to go to the alternative platforms. The links are in the description. The green site, the orange site, and the black site. Hope to see you there. See me Sunday at I Heart Horror Ice Cream and Monster Truck Jamboree from 4 to 9 in Matawan, New Jersey. That's going to be fun. Hope to see you there. We'll see you in the next one.